Welcome to 4Colour Reactions Issue 9. I'm Led Sharp, and I've just got 3 reactions for you this week. It's dead simple. First one being John Carpenter is writing a 40-page one-shot about the Joker for DC's Black Label imprint. The art is going to be by Philip Tan and Mark Deering, and he's going to be co-writing it with Anthony Birch. This is okay, but it's a one-shot. It's going to be bought mainly on eBay further down the line, unless it's a massive hit and it goes to second printing, which I kind of doubt. John Carpenter's status as a creator is kind of these days. He's got a cult following, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't released an actual big film for some time. The Joker is completely oversaturated and overused, and I have no idea why people are still buying comics based around him, especially since this one just looks like, oh look, he's peeled his face off again. So this could go anywhere, but it feels like a gimmick move by DC, and like most gimmicks these days, it'll garner a modicum of interest and then be forgotten about, which is a shame. I mean, it could be brilliant, don't get me wrong, the actual quality of the work, I'll leave it till I read it. Let's see what happens. And to be honest with you, change a medium with a few people behind him that know what they're doing, John Carpenter might come up with some absolute dazzling magic, and he might have finally found his place in the creative world. Because let's face it, some of his films recently have not. But that being said, let's see how it goes. Right, a little bit of odd promotion here, because I've been meaning to look through my favourites list for quite some time and actually do a little bit of research on marketing comics and different models of actually selling comics, and one of the actual sites that I've been meaning to look into is the Panel Syndicate. Go look it up, it's really, really clever. It was launched by, let me get the name right here, Marcus Martin, right? And it's basically him and Brian K. Vaughan wanted to sell comics. So they launched this website, I apologise, website, where basically you pay what you want. Bit weird. And you may be thinking, well, that's really easy to take advantage of. I'll just pay a penny. You're still paying a penny. And to be perfectly honest with you, the quality of the work and the creative team kind of lures in more, shall we say, art-minded people. You're going to get people genuinely contributing to this because they're getting genuinely good work back. It's like, for example, I've got £2.50 going spare in my bank account. It's all I can spare. I'll buy an issue of their comic. It's still £2.50, but if everybody did that, they'd make quite a chunk of cheddar. It's a belting model. Don't know why it's not been done before. Maybe it has. I mean, I know there's honesty boxes and things like that, but specifically with comics, I would be curious to see whether there are any other sites that do this. If there are and you know of them, leave it in the comment section and I'll have a look. But so far, yeah, it was launched in 2013, and it's took me this long to have a look at it, but it's really, really good. And I will be spending some money there, and not a penny. So, yeah. Brilliant little website, superb business model. Over on the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund website is a superb piece by Patricia Mastricolo. I apologise if I pronounce your name wrong, I do try and get things right. About a school in Texas banning Love is Love, a comic book about LGBT rights and characters. They did this at the beginning of July, which obviously was Pride Month, so this is kind of heavy hitting. And it also caused 5 other books by association to be banned with it, because they were 6 books by the review board that were picked by students and people in the know. These books were picked professionally, they were reviewed, they went ahead, and then they were banned because people objected to the LGBT content in them. That is horrendous. That is the opinion and the beliefs of an individual being imposed on the rights of the majority, and that is actually wrong. Because there was no objectionable material in these comics, and they are a good read for a young audience that might be confused and need a little bit of help and support. Comics are an easy target and always have been ever since there were the witch hunts. They can make their way into libraries, they can be picked up by children because adults just see them as children's reading matter, and despite the prevalence of superhero movies these days, comic books like, for example, let's see, Harvey Pekar ones up there. I've got The Walking Dead up there. I've got Jeff Lemire's Descender up there. I had Black Hammer and Black Science and The Adventures of Wimbledon Green, the greatest comic collector ever known, which has actually got quite a few F words in it, to be perfectly honest with you. So yeah, it's not one I would give to a child. Plus the fact that it's a heavy comic. Not a lot of zaps and kapows in it, to be perfectly honest with you. So some comics are not appropriate for children, and that's fine if you want to make sure that these aren't in schools, but that's what the review board is for. And to go back on that review board was a big mistake, and it turned comics into yet another victim of unnecessary censorship, because they are a small industry. They are perceived by those not interested in the industry as children's fare, and I'm hoping that videos like mine will educate people. So there you go. Anyway, enough's enough. I've rambled too much. Take care and have fun reading comics.